power corrupt. Absolute power corrupt. Absolutely. Maduku ihono. Abai shabu. Dictatorship anaga. Democracy bụ ike dịrị onye ọbụla. Democracy bụ uche ọha bụ ihe ga-eme. Ọ bụghị ihe dị irọ ofu onye akpara ya rie. Ọ bụghị ofu onye mee uche ya. Ọchịchị Naịjirịa yiri nga agwọloro ibe ya. Agwọloro ibe ya. Ọ na-enwe ọdụ agwọ. Ọkụkọ bere na ngige. Ngige na-egwu anụ nwa ọkụkọ nọ na-egwu. Agada gbachie ụzọ gị na onye nwere okwu. Agada gbachie ụzọ chọrọ ime onwe ka chi. O ji nwata n'ala ji onwe. Agaghị emeri onye Jehova nọnyere. Agbanwe uwe lọghachi n'oche echiche. Ndị agbanwere uwe agbanwe omume ha lọghachila. Ndị agbanwere uwe agbanwe omume. Ka agwa ha si na ọ bụ naanị gbanwe. Ka agwa ha si na ọ bụ naanị gbanwe ọgọdọ. Demokrasi yiri ọchịchị amị abụghị ndị ọma ya. All dialogue bụ demokrasi, ọ bụghị dictatorship. Man will bury himself alone. Only Chakwari where his one hand must appear above ground level. Democrats have done it, Bawagado. Agwaloribea, Nanambara. Agwaloribea, Omaradapo, Okuko Bere Nangige. Ngige nebu, Anwakuko no nebu, even nebu. Magare Mary, Jehovah, dear Rosie. Ikabulo Yetineke, Yamara. Democracy, Ikadiri Oyabu. Democracy, Bucha, Abuja, Abugi, Hedira, Oya Prime, Abu Funya Meuche. Democracy never. Avera Nigeria, and the Raya Point Yabu. Tribalism, Boy, Buruda, Soja Point Yabu.
You are once again welcome to Collins Cinema Treasury of Excellent Knowledge. Still today, being Friday 21st of May 2021, and the time from Valencia City, my base is 5:52 in the evening, 6 minutes to 6 p.m. Good evening from Valencia City. Good night, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are right now. I am your humble servant evangelist Collins Inuma. I just want to brief us. This will be a very brief video, and with the topic testimony times, part 6 of testimony times, and it is to testify about the confirmation by the one of the popular Nigerian newscaster, by one of the popular Nigerian journalists working in the Channel TV, whose name is Mr. Shegun. He has confirmed it, what we have been saying all along, that Nigeria as a government deliberately render her citizens poor, and as a reason, that is weaponizing poverty over the Nigerian populace, using it as a reason taking advantage over them, to control them, and to make them desperate to accept the least of anything offered to them as very precious, even though it's supposed to be their right. Not even supposed, even though those things given to them is just is just a fraction of their vast rights. They will be regarding it as being precious and forgetting what actually belongs to them and what the Nigerian government should be doing to them as citizens. And as a result of education poverty, the majority of Nigerians do not actually know the reason why they have government. What is the role of the government to the people? Most of the people never knew it until a few years ago, when sensitization began, and we continue to join and continue to sensitize the people on how government should be run and what is the duty of the government, of which primary purpose is protection of lives and properties, which was completely lacking in the concept of the Nigerian populace as a result of education poverty. When I made my video with the topic poverty as a weapon of the Nigerian politicians against the Nigerian masses, poverty, the greatest weapon of Nigerian politicians against the Nigerian masses, I made mention of variety of kinds of poverty, of which infrastructural development poverty is a part, education poverty is a part, and people verify them to confirm that it is true. All those things are deliberate act of the government. The poor education, the poor underdevelopment, environmental underdevelopment, lack of industrialization, economic sabotage of all sorts, looting what belongs to the people and never care about the well-being of the people. Even medication poverty is among them. The reason there are no good medication system, that is, no good hospital system to save the life of the sick Nigerians, is part and parcel of this poverty I am talking about. And that is the reason those who created this medication poverty don't go to any hospital in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, because they know that there is no adequate medication there. When they are sick, they will fly out to diaspora to have their medication, while they send their own children to live in the diaspora, where they enjoy all of the essential commodities that should be provided to the people by their government. This is what they do. Then the government, they only establish their own houses, either in the government house or in their private homes. They establish it, fixing them with power generating machines and the rest of the things they need, at the expense of the people they live, not as a result of, not from their personal money. And they are the people who rationalize how workers should be paid, and that is the reason they apportion almost 80% of payment to themselves, while they begin to share the rest of 20% of payment to the rest of workers of all categories. And that is the reason you see teachers and some other workers having a maximum basic salary of 30,000 naira, while you see the politicians like the senators, and the part of them being paid in tens of millions, 10 million, 20 millions per month. Then they have different sorts of allowances, enriching themselves with the money that should be belonging to the public. Beyond their extortive self-paid salaries, they also continue to loot from the resources belonging to the people. Not only that, they go to the feudal system of restricting the people to develop themselves. Even when some individual make some money on themselves genuinely to start one lucrative business or industries that will deprive them, the mafias, the business mafias among the cabals and the foreign power, to be marketing their own product, they will strangulate such businesses. And that is the reason they have monopolized importation and industrialization in the guise of Dangoteism, and have seized the opportunity from many people. So I am just reflecting on the video I made in the past, and so far we have been informing the people about the deliberate act of the Nigerian government to impoverish the people so that they can control the people anytime, any day, and in all conditions. So I'm saying this so that our people will keep on waking up and to be absolutely resistant to any political electioneering. As I've been saying, I repeat, we don't need any political electioneering. They want to compel you strategically to believe that that should be the medium for the Nigerian problem, the medium to solving Nigerian problem, when it is not actually what they tell you. Rather, it is the means of sustaining the same systematic problem, because that is the foundation. The Nigerian electioneering system is the foundation of colonialism in the Nigeria. Political system in Nigeria is just a colonialism in the guise of genuine or democratic politics. That is not what it is. We are being deluded. What we actually need, if Nigerian government actually mean peace and the solution regarding the case of Nigeria as of today, they will call for a referendum and nothing less than that. So, to round up, I want to play a video containing testimony, a video I've just played while I made the program that I just ended. So I just want to replay that particular portion of the video, which will be around 5 minutes. So that you hear from Channels Television and from the mouth of the young man, Mr. Shehun, that actually Nigerian government have been responsible to impoverishing most Nigerians. Just hear it as a confirmation to this testimony, then this program will come to an end.
Domestication by way of,
I begin playing the video. The topic of the video is why 4.2 million pounds why 4.2 million pounds Ibori loot won't go to Delta State. Malami is supposedly Minister of Justice, Nigerian Minister of Justice, but by his attitude, by his work, he is contradicting what he claims to be, or what the people believe him to be. Rather than being the Nigerian Minister of Justice, he is actually Nigerian Minister of Injustice, because he is a frontline champion of the Fulani propaganda. By the grace of God, later on I will make another video. I will make another video with this very content when I will play it in detail, then to analyze it. I'm playing from the 18th minute, perhaps until 23 to 25th minute, the program will come to an end.
To be sanctioned, and once it is sanctioned by the Federal Executive Council, that is where it stops. There are agreements in law, you understand, treaties that requires domestication by way of, the National Assembly. But this is one agreement that does not fall within the context of the requirement of the law as far as domestication by the National Assembly is concerned.
What about the Section 12 of the Constitution?
That says what?
Which says that no treaty between the Federation and any other country shall have the force of law until it's being enacted into law by the Parliament.
You cannot read the provision of Section 12 of the Constitution exclusively without bringing into consideration other laws that are in existence with particular regard, for example, the treaties and enforcement relevant laws. Over and above the provision of the Constitution you are talking about, there exist valid, subsisting and operational laws passed by the National Assembly, assented to by the President, with particular regard to treaties, agreements, enforcement of treaties and agreements. So it's not a provision that you can read in isolation. Why? Because all the two laws are valid and subsisting. And the treaties in
Section 12 is not valid. There is
not that it's not valid, but you can appreciate its validity within the context of community reading of the prevailing laws that has to do with treaties and indeed agreements enforcement within the context of the Nigerian situation. Because the Constitution is not the only operational law as far as the Nigerian situation is concerned.
But it's a ground norm.
So it's the ground norm. But then within the context of ground norm, you have associated laws. If you are talking of corruption, for example, even though Section 15 of the Constitution is categorical about the fight against corruption, but within the context of the Constitution, you have EFCC Establishment Act of 2004. So you can, in determining what constitutes corruption, in determining how it should be fought, in determining the way processes and associated considerations related to corruption, you cannot read the Constitution exclusively without recourse to associated legislation with particular regard to EFCC, ICPC, Code of Conduct, Police Act, and others, and a host of others.
Let's take a break, Attorney General. I would like to know, because there are a lot of monies that have been stolen, unfortunately. A lot of Nigerians are poor. But leaders in the past have stolen a lot of money outside of this country. I would like to know which of these other monies you are chasing. But we'll go on break, and when we come back, you'll be telling us more. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Our conversation with the AGF and Minister of Justice continue after now. Everyone for staying with us right here on Channel Television's Politics Today. It's a 1-hour edition of the program. It's a midweek edition. And the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is our guest tonight. Thank you so much, AGF, for your time tonight. Before I get off the matter of anti-corruption, perhaps I have one or two things I'd like you to clarify. I was going to ask you, is there any other kind of fraud or loot that is out there that you're chasing that is of this magnitude that Nigerians need to know about?
Well, in all sincerity, what has been recovered over time will be a child's play if what we are pursuing eventually succeed in terms of recovery. Only yesterday, I had a elaborate meeting with some of the with a head of the security or perhaps anti-corruption agency as to the strategy to be deployed in terms of recovery as it relates to a very heavy asset that has constituted a subject of investigation. We are pursuing a very heavy recovery relating to two personalities under investigation, intelligence, and associated work relating to such recovery has advanced to, has reached an advanced stage. And I can assure you that with the collaboration, the anti-corruption agencies, we are having with the anti-corruption agencies, with particular reference to EFCC, I see us making a great headway in terms of making monumental, I call it monumental, recovery of looted assets very soon.
It's perhaps in the UK, I guess.
Well, it is not particularly located as a single location, but then it includes the UK, it includes Swiss.
So Malami accepts the fact that the Nigerian government practice loot against the Nigerian populace, but due to his nepotism and as a Fulani agent and as a part and parcel of Fulanization in Nigeria, the recovery of looted funds are targeted against those whom they believe not to continue to be subject to the Fulanization. This is the sentiment, and this is according to his propaganda. So when I will talk in detail regarding this, I will make another video. It is just about we confirming that actually Nigerian government have been looting the fund belonging to the Nigerian public. Not only the fund, looting the public in different ways, and as a result, the Nigerian populace are rendered poor by the Nigerian government. Let us hear it once again.
Treaties, agreements, enforcement of treaties and agreements. So it's not a provision that you can read in isolation. Why? Because all the two laws are valid and subsisting. And the treaties in
Section 12 is not valid. There is
not that it's not valid, but you can appreciate its validity within the context of community reading of the prevailing laws that has to do with treaties and indeed agreements enforcement within the context of the Nigerian situation. Because the constitution is not the only operational law as far as the Nigerian situation is concerned.
But it's a grand norm.
So it's the grand norm. But then within the context of the grand norm, you have associated laws. If you are talking of corruption, for example, even though Section 15 of the Constitution is categorical about the fight against corruption, but within the context of the Constitution, you have EFCC Establishment Act of 2004. So you can, in determining what constitutes corruption, in determining how it should be put, in determining the way processes and associated considerations related to corruption, you cannot read the Constitution exclusively without recourse to associated legislations with particular regard to EFCC, ICPC, Code of Conduct, Police Act, and others, and a host of others.
Let's take a break, Attorney General. I would like to know, because there are a lot of monies that have been stolen, unfortunately. A lot of Nigerians are poor. But leaders in the past have stolen a lot of money outside of this country. I would like to know which of these other monies you are chasing. But we'll go on break, and when we come back, you will telling us more.
It is Shegun confirming it that Nigerians have been actually rendered poor by the Nigerian government as a result of looting them, not only financially, looting them in all round. Looting Nigerian masses randomly. That is the only duty of the Nigerian government, and not for the well-being of the people. And the Channel Television is one of the Nigerian colonial broadcasting system. But as a result of this persistent robbery by the government over the Nigerian masses, Shegun can no longer endure it, and he has begun to speak out. So it is to confirm, to affirm, to bring to us, and for record purposes, the confirmation by Shegun that Nigerian government have been actually rendering the Nigerian masses poor, just as I have been speaking, just as the rest of the genuine broadcasters have been speaking, and they will have been the people denying this fact, but they are now bearing us witness. Glory be to God, and the kudos to all of the genuine broadcasters who bring the reality to the people just as I do. And you are highly blessed to be a member of this anointed platform calling Cinema Treasury of Excellent Knowledge. May God bless you. The program has come to an end, my brother. I can see you. Akumakalu, you're highly welcome, and the other people who may be watching me right now. So it is just a brief program. It is just dishing out this information for record purposes. So until you hear from me once again, and by the grace of God, by tomorrow I will be having Bible teachings. I will be having Bible teachings. I will be having, between tomorrow and the next, I will have up to 3 lessons of Bible teachings. Thereafter, I will continue with this civil agitation for Biafra restoration and for civil liberation of the entirety of African rest. May God bless you until you hear from me once again.